Hello everyone, I'm here to tell you about another meal prep recipe for you. So last time I did a meal prep lunch, and so I did the salads and then just the basic meal prep. And so today I'm going to show you a meal prep supper. And honestly, you can use this for lunch as well. I eat it a lot for lunch. So I'm going to show you how to make some meal prep burrito bowls. And these are super nice because they're really easy, they're healthy, they're cheap, and you can put in anything that you want. So if you don't have these ingredients, you can just skip them. If you have other ingredients, you can add those. So you can change it however you like. So I have some rice here that I cooked just now. I only just did a little bit of rice here. It's just plain rice. I added a little bit of salt when I cooked it. But I want to show you one tip to make your rice taste a little better if you're putting it into a burrito bowl. So one thing that you can do, well, you can add spices, obviously, but one thing you can do is use a little bit of lime zest and lime juice, and also add some fresh cilantro, and that'll kind of give it like a little more of a taco flavor. And if you don't have a zester, which I don't actually have a zester, you can use just a knife, and you cut off just the top part of the lime. You can do this with lemons as well. And you want to get just the top part off. You don't really want to get much of the white stuff, because that's a little bit more bitter. So I'm just going to use a little bit. And then all you do is just, it's hard to see, but you just chop it up really finely. Now lemon zest and lime zest, it is very fine. So you're going to want to make sure you chop it up really well, so you can kind of mimic that. So it's a little bit more work, but I would definitely recommend getting a zester. But this also works as well. So this is just a little bit of lime zest that you can add. And I'll just add this in. And you just dump it straight in there. You can add as much or as little as you want, but I think this is fine for now. And then you'll take half of this lime and just squeeze it in there. I don't know if I'll use the entire lime because it's not a ton of rice. I'll do just a little squeeze here. I don't want it too limey, but actually I might do the whole thing. Okay. Go. So I've got some lime zest, I got some lime juice, I'm going to take some cilantro here. I can see with the cilantro, it is in this cup, so it doesn't look the greatest, but what it does, there's about 1.5 inches of water in here. What that does is keeps the cilantro fresh. So when you're getting fresh herbs, make sure you put it in some water like this, and then cover it with some plastic. So I just use the one that it comes in, and you just cover it like this and just leave it in the fridge like this, and then it will keep longer. So that's one tip, to keep your herbs fresh longer. Sometimes it's easy to forget about them, and then you don't get to use them right away, so that's one way to do that. So I'm just going to chop up some cilantro, put that in. I really like cilantro, so I'm going to add a little bit more. I know some people don't like cilantro, so you definitely don't have to do this, but I really like it, so. Just gonna put in a bunch here. And really, you can just guess for how much you want, so. Okay. So now I have my cilantro lime rice. So that's just one way to step up the rice a little bit more. So I'm going to set that aside. And then I wanted to show you another trick when I'm cutting things. So as you can see, or maybe you can't see, I have a damp paper towel underneath here. Now if you have a cutting board that's like this one, it slides around a lot, there's no grippy things on it. What you can do is take a damp paper towel, just get it wet and then squeeze out the water, and then if you sit underneath, it won't move. So I can show you here. So there's no paper towel, and it moves around really easily. So But if I take my damp paper towel, lay that down, put it on top, and it doesn't move. I mean, I could probably force it to move, but it really sticks. And that's a way to keep it a little bit safer when you're chopping up, especially if you don't have one that has grippy bottoms. So now I want to show you the rest of the ingredients that I'm going to use in my burrito bowl. I have my ingredients for pico, I have an avocado, my cilantro, and then I have some corn and I have some beans. These are just canned corn and canned beans. You can certainly make beans from dried beans, you can use fresh corn, you can use frozen corn, really, it's up to you. Another way to make your corn and your beans a little bit fancier, you can always throw it into a pan with some oil and maybe some garlic and some onion and throw in some spices, and that will just step up your beans and your corn a little bit more. So the spices I would use for that would be like cilantro would work, but it's like cumin, salt, pepper, oregano, chili powder, anything like that, or just some taco seasoning, and that would make it taste a little bit better too. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as is. So let's see. So those are my ingredients. Let me show you how I make the pico. So I just have a little bowl here. Basically, I'll just use part of this red onion. I'll probably use about half. You don't want to put too much in because it gets really oniony unless you really like onions. And then I'll put in the other half of the lime. I'll put in a Roma tomato and then some cilantro. I'll add some salt and pepper, mix it up, and then super easy pico. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make that. Alright, so here I have made my pico. Super fresh, super easy. If you had homegrown tomatoes, that would taste really good in here. I did not take out the seeds. You certainly could do that if you don't like as much liquid. I just used the whole tomato because I think it tastes fine. But you can certainly take out the seeds too. And so now all that remains is just to build your burrito bowls. So I have here my 2 meal prep containers. And like I said, this may or may not fill up the whole thing. It's okay if it doesn't. So make sure you add only your ingredients that can be heated up. And add your ingredients that can't be heated up later. So for example, I would not put on the pico right now because I would heat these up in the microwave and I don't want hot pico. So just add that later. Same thing for the avocado. I'm not actually going to cut into it. I would add that later. Typically I just put the half I don't use in the fridge. And it does get a little bit brown, but I think it still tastes fine. So then I'm just going to add some corn to this. And again, if you wanted to make it fancier, you could always cook it with some spices. That would make it taste a little bit better, I think. But this works just as well. And then some beans. And then I'll put some here. And if you want to add some meat in here, the reason why I don't use meat, not because I don't like meat or don't want to eat it, mostly because I find this is just easier to do, to open a can of beans. But you can certainly add like ground beef with some taco meat if you wanted to. That would taste good. You could add it along with the beans. You could do it instead of the beans. It's really up to you. And then the last thing I would do is just add some shredded cheese to here. About a tablespoon per bowl. And then when I'm ready to cook it, or microwave it, sorry, just stick it in the microwave for a minute, 2 minutes, depending on your microwave. Add some of your pico, add your avocado, any other toppings you like, and you have a burrito bowl. Super easy. You can adjust it however you like. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and if you make it, take a picture and show us. We'd love to see that. So yeah, thanks for listening.